Good afternoon to Paul. It's great to see you guys again. It's our second YouTube video lesson, and you'll notice I'm wearing a different hat. I'm going to wear a different hat in every video lesson I make, and based upon the comments on Google Classroom and the YouTube video, that is the hat that I will wear to school the first day we get back to school. So if you like a hat, you want me to wear it to school, make a comment. But for now, we're moving to lessons 1 and 2 from your break packet. The first lesson is about perpendicular lines. The word is perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are lines that meet and make a right angle or a 90-degree angle. So you can see here, example of perpendicular lines, not perpendicular lines. I'll give you a second. You can pause your screen. You can write these notes down in your packet or on a piece of paper. You can kind of make a mini vocab notebook. All these lessons have a lot of vocabulary, so the more you're writing this down, the better you're going to learn these words. Again, the word is perpendicular. When I'm trying to find out if lines are perpendicular, I need to know if they're bigger or smaller than 90 degrees. So if I see two lines like this, you probably know that as an angle that's acute. Acute angles have less than 90 degrees, so they're definitely not perpendicular because they need to have exactly 90 degrees to be perpendicular lines. Same thing's true if you have an obtuse angle or lines that meet in an obtuse way. Those lines are not perpendicular because they don't meet at a 90-degree angle. It can be hard to tell if an angle is exactly 90 degrees. So I have a special trick that I use to tell. If I see an angle like this or lines that look pretty perpendicular, like those lines, the way I check is I take the corner of a piece of paper, because the corner of a piece of paper is always going to be a right angle or 90-degree angle perpendicular. I take the paper and I check to see if it fits in perfectly. If the angle fits in perfectly, the lines are perpendicular. If the lines, only one line shows, the other one gets covered, that means the angle of the paper was bigger. So these lines right here, if I bring the paper across, that line is less than 90 degrees. It is not perpendicular. And this one here, those angles don't fit inside. They're too big. They're obtuse. So now you know about perpendicular lines, like that. Perpendicular lines, they meet at a right angle. And that can help us figure out triangle types and just generally how big an angle is, if it's perpendicular or less than perpendicular. And that's going to help us determine what kind of shapes we have. But we haven't finished learning about triangles yet. I know before break, we talked about obtuse, right, the triangles that are always correct. Don't worry, Chrisleys, I can hear you rolling your eyes from here. And acute angles. Oh, so cute. Well, today, we're also going to add in triangles that are classified not based upon the angles they have, but based on their sides. We have equilateral triangles, isosceles triangles, and scalene triangles. So let's go through each one. I'm going to hold it up. You can pause the screen and get the notes down if you want. Let's start with the easiest one to remember is equilateral. It's pretty easy because the definition is in the name. We have equilateral triangles. All sides are equal length. I like to think of them as like the eyes on a pumpkin. They look like this, like basically a classic triangle. All sides are the exact same length. Equilateral. The next two, I don't have any good ways to remember them. So I'm hoping you can comment below or share some ideas of how we can remember what kind is what. The first one we have is isosceles triangles. So isosceles don't have 3 equal sides, they have 2 equal sides. And it's one of the hardest ones to spell, isosceles triangles. You can see it's like 2 S's, a C, an S. But so good luck with that. And it has 2 sides equal. They can be acute, they can be obtuse, but they all have the same, they have 2 sides that are the same size. That's an isosceles triangle. And then our final triangle type is scalene triangle. And I can't draw these to save my life. So I apologize. The first one, I'm not even sure that's a isosceles. It's almost like an equilateral, but they have no equal sides, none. So we have, this is probably the best one here. It took me 3 tries to draw one where all the sides were different. Maybe you'll be better than me. Want to draw a good one? Show me a picture of it. Scalene triangles have no equal sides. What kind of triangle have? Right, obtuse, acute, scalene. There's 3 angles in a triangle, just like there's 3 sides. And one really cool thing about all triangles, no matter what of the 6 types we've learned, obtuse, acute, right, isosceles, equilateral, scalene, all of them have 3 angles, and those 3 angles add up to 180 degrees. His video message. 180 degrees. So right here we see this is 90 degrees, 45 degrees. What's the final one? So if all 3 angles add up to 180, then I know that 90 plus 45 plus question mark equals 180. So 90 plus 45 equals 180. All I need to do is find out how much more do I need to get 180. So I can add up 90 plus 45. That's 135. 90 plus 45 is 135. 135 plus question mark equals 180. So how much bigger does 135 need to be than 180? If I'm finding how much bigger something needs to be, that's subtraction. So I'm going to take 180 minus 130. (180 minus 135 equals 45. That means the missing angle in this triangle is 45 degrees. So all you need to know for a triangle is that there's 3 angles and 3 sides. The way those sides look, the way the angles look, tell you what kind of triangle you've got. Either you have an acute, obtuse, or right angle. You have equilateral, same sides, isosceles, 2 equal sides, or scalene where all the sides are different and it's all a mess. So hoping you have an idea to help you remember those tricks. Hoping you're doing a good job ready to do that. I have one set of questions for you just to look at. You can practice this real quick here. It says, which shapes have perpendicular lines? These are just you'll see in your packets, review packets. Which ones have perpendicular lines? Pause it, look at it. All right, if you go and pause your camera, you can see that you have D, B, and sorry, B and E are all have perpendicular lines. The other ones do not. That's your quick quiz. So keep tuned. We're gonna do lessons 3 and 4 tomorrow. I'll post those up as well. If you don't have the packets, you can just write down the vocabulary words, practice the Khan Academy links that you've been sent out. You can use those as well. And you can also see on Google Classroom I posted, instead of doing the slate math assignments, you can use a program on Amplify, my.amplify.net. Much better program for practicing your fractions work. I'll be texting and checking with you all about it in the next 24 hours. Hope you guys are all home, safe, seeing your families, and taking care of yourselves. See you soon.